Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Lance Sexton, John Riossi, American banker. Good to see you both, gentlemen.
Good to be there.
There's the certificate. Let's go right to John. John, National Small Business Week. Why do we do this? First of all, why do we do this, and why is this important to Main Street and lenders, or is it? What's your thought?
I think it's important. Everyone appreciates and deserves recognition for the work that they do, and on a collective basis, small businesses really are the backbone of the American economy. So they certainly deserve this week and probably another couple weeks like it.
Oh, yeah.
And the big stat is they create 2/3 of all jobs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kudos to all the tech companies and whatever, but small business is the generator of jobs, especially for first-generation immigrants. Go ahead.
The fun part about it, Bob, in 1994, I wrote an article for a newspaper called Small Business is Good Business, and that popped up in my feed online, and I read the story, and I could have copied it, pasted it into a new article for today because much of what you're talking about, the job creation, the importance to the American economy, it was the number of jobs that are actually accounted for by small businesses. It's been that way for years. And John, you're right. There needs to be 2 or 3 small business weeks.
Yes.
Well, the theme of this show, obviously, we very much try to be bipartisan. And this is from the president, but it is a bipartisan statement saying billions of dollars have gone to millions of small businesses to keep the lights on and keep workers on the payroll. I don't think anybody can argue with the end result. Now, we can get to the logistics we can discuss, but the end result, no one can argue with that statement, John.
No, we don't have double-digit unemployment.
Right.
We have a worker shortage right now. So
Right.
Things could have been very different.
Absolutely, and we can discuss the issues, but that's a great way to put it, John, is look at the end result. Worker shortage, demand is still there. I know there was a little downtick in the economy, but demand is there, consumer appetite is there, and that's great.
I like you, Bob, work very hard, at least try to be nonpartisan, and I hope it shows up in the reporting. But I will just say this, because I just think it will happen, is there may be in the revisions to the most recent GDP report, it could be revised differently and revised upward. So the final word has not been spoken. Having said that, it's still a warning signal. It's
absolutely.
Not the report that you get, but perhaps it's not as bad as it seems initially.
John, you dropped an article today, First Internet, First Century Merger. Tell us, why is that important to the industry?
Well, probably it's tangential to the industry. I think First Internet is important to the industry because it is a large and growing SBA lender. I would like to talk about an article that's going to post a little bit later today, Bob, and I didn't have a chance
absolutely.
to you. I had the opportunity to listen in on the hearing, the Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship hearing with the administrator on Wednesday. And interestingly enough, direct lending was a fairly important topic of discussion there. And while obviously there is no money in the fiscal 2023 budget for direct lending, what the administrator said was that this is still something that they're studying, still something that they're very interested in doing, and they believe it. They continue to believe it. And that was seconded by Senator Cardin, who is now, and we'll just have to see in November, but is now the chairman of the committee, the Senate Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee. So it hasn't gone away. Things may change in November, if there is a sort of the red wave that people are talking about. It's no surprise that the Republicans are pretty much to a representative, to a senator, opposed to this direct lending. But that's 6 months from now, and things may not change. So it's something that bears watching. Whatever position you take on this, it's not over, at least as of now.
Who's driving that? What is driving that? Obviously, if you have a direct lending, then someone believes lenders aren't doing enough and we need to have government lend directly. Do you know the backstory on that and why that's such a hot topic for the administration? Leave it at that.
Well, you just saw that the administration promoted or at least directed these equity plans be drafted and issued or disclosed by every agency of government, including agencies like the Department of Defense, the Department of State, but certainly including the Small Business Administration. So this is an important topic to them. And I think, in this case, take them at their word. This is a major priority for them to see that, to do everything they can to improve access to capital for minorities, for underserved borrowers, for borrowers in low and moderate income areas, for rural borrowers, for veterans, for women, all of the groups that that people argue and say, have not had adequate access to capital before. Having said that, there isn't a bank or credit union in this country, I imagine, that doesn't agree with them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Down to it, it's a question of methodology.
John, any idea of what amount of money we're talking about?
No. The administrator specifically said, and I'll try with my memory, to be as faithful to what she said as possible, but no specific amount of money was included in the 2023 budget, which, get rid of the word specific and you have no amount of money was included in the 2023 budget.
Did they get into any of the details of how this would work? Would lenders be involved a la PLP? Go ahead.
Yes, that was the interesting thing. A little bit more detail about it, and I don't remember them getting into this level of detail before in fiscal year 2022 when there was an appropriation attached to this, and I wonder why they didn't, or why they didn't do it in more detail. What they said was they want certainly the nonprofits, but also community banks as well. I'm assuming credit unions, although no one explicitly mentioned credit union.
Okay.
But obviously, I think credit unions are included in this. They want them to be part of the distribution network for this. And what they said was, the example they said was, if there's a community bank that has a client who is a restaurateur, a restaurant owner, and for whatever reason they don't feel comfortable making a loan, and this would be obviously a loan of $150,000 or less to this business, they could refer it to SBA. SBA would underwrite the loan. Let's assume, for the sake of this example, SBA makes the loan, and the bank keeps the relationship. Obviously, SBA is not going to compete for deposits, compete for any of the other fee income that is generated by a relationship. So that's the best of all cases scenario. But what the bankers say, and I did have a chance to interact with, to talk with American Bankers through email, American Bankers Association through email, and what they say and what CUNA said in their letter that they wrote about this last week is banks and credit unions are trying to do exactly the same thing.
Right.
Have the existing distribution network. So why do this?
Lance, it almost sounds like you can spin this and it's 100% guaranteed loan. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they implement this. I mean, I don't think anybody denies that there is a segment of the population that may not have the same level of access to capital as others do. but I'm going to be, Bob, you and I both lived through direct lending at earlier stages in our career, and it's going to be interesting to see how it's implemented. And the other thing that's interesting to me, John, is, we're coming off of record years in SBA lending. So it's interesting the timing of this, because participant lenders are doing a great job right now. Maybe not hitting every mark in terms of underserved markets, but it's kind of interesting that they want to bring it out when participant lenders are, they had a record lending year during a pandemic.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Lance, because in writing this article that I hope we'll post a little bit later this afternoon, I just went to the statistics and added up the 7A totals for fiscal 20, fiscal 21, and so far roughly 7 months into fiscal 22, and it exceeds 70 billion. Actually, it exceeds 71 billion. So there's I don't think anyone can complain that lenders aren't lending, that the coffers aren't open. And that's $71 billion of capital from the lenders to the small businesses. SBA has the guarantees, and here and there, I mean, the other great story is that we're also in exceptional credit quality. So here and there, they've made that could change, but for now, they haven't been overwhelmed with having to make good on the guarantees. So the program is functioning at a high level of efficiency. It certainly did last year, and so far in 2022.
Very good, very good. Well, I certainly look forward to that, and we'll follow this. I'm with you, unless they have to pick off some Republican votes to get this through. So sounds like they're pretty entrenched against it, John.
We'll have to see if they can pivot and start making this argument that the banks can be part of this.
There you go. Yeah, that makes.
Yeah.
I don't mean to. I say banks because I'm a community banking reporter, but I mean banks and credit unions.
Yeah, lenders.
They can make that argument that it's not just going to be for CDFIs, that it's going to be for all SBA lenders. Then maybe they can begin to change some minds.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Well, like I said, Lance, 100% guarantee, maybe in a different. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, Bob. And I've said this all along when they started talking about direct lending, just increase the guarantee percentage on certain types of loans to 100%. And banks will be, financial institutions, lenders will be all over it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, on this Wednesday, former Lance, what was Brent's title at?
He was head of Okram.
He was the man. He is doing a webinar on SBA lender oversight, what you need to know. It is free. We sponsored Garcia and Ortez. So instead of you paying bluntly, that's you can figure out what's going on here. And they're going to talk about, obviously, their services. But Brent always does a great job, and I urge you to take advantage of that. Joseph, what's the quick way they can register? You want to hop in here, Joseph?
Just go to this link right here, and we're going to be pushing it out later, quickly after this.
Okay, we'll send a link out to everyone today. Please take it. Yeah, you may want to take advantage of that, and that's pretty cool.
Bob,
Brent
is certainly a champion of small business lending.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll tell a quick story. He was on vacation in Italy last week, and I had a question, and Brent answers the phone while on vacation, and we talk about SBA while he's enjoying Italy.
Tell me he wasn't in the Sistine Chapel, please. Tell me.
I don't think so, Bob, but again, Brent is a great speaker, has a lot of in-depth knowledge, and would certainly encourage you to participate.
Now, I think he's a director of Blue Foundry Bank, which is a small community bank. I shouldn't say small community bank. I believe out of Pennsylvania, John, if my math is right there. Lance, what are you doing next week? We're going to do 10 pitfalls.
Well, we're going to talk about...
Why do we keep beating the drum on this process, Lance?
Well, and John mentioned it. We've come came out of unprecedented territory in terms of the last 2 or 3 years and the number of guarantee purchases that have been presented. But it is coming at some point. And one of the keys to making sure that you can get paid on the guarantee is properly closing the loan. So we've taken it, divided it into 10 areas of problem areas, and hopefully are going to provide some guidance and clear thought process on how to avoid problems in your SBA loan closing.
Lance, that's poor marketing. You can't say hopefully, you see. We will.
It's going to be incredible, Bob.
There you
Sign up now.
Very good. Obviously, hey, if you want to take advantage of our new Coleman Confidential report, we're doing background checks. Drop me an email. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Gentlemen, John, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Lance, good to see you as always. Thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time.
Have a great Monday.